On August 19th, Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister N. Chandrababu Naidu conducted a roundtable with CEOs at Sri City, which is an integrated business city in Tirupati district. As Naidu sought cooperation of investors, he made an interesting observation.
India fortunately had an occasion advantage of demographic advantage, dividend. Up to 2047, India will have this advantage. Now I am talking about demographic management. South India, we are having a problem now. Population is declining. North India population is increasing. There is an imbalance. So I am talking now population management, increase more population. Earlier I had done population control. Now I am talking about population promotion.
Yes, you heard it right. The Chief Minister spoke about increasing population. Don't be surprised. Earlier, on August 7th, his cabinet had already decided to scrap the two-child norm for people to contest local body elections. So why is the Chief Minister, who is often known for gauging the political tide and economic trends well in advance, speaking about population management and North-South divide? It is Friday, the 6th of September. From the Economic Times, I'm your host Nidhi Sharma and you listening to the Morning Brief. Today, we will deep dive into why a key ally in the National Democratic Alliance government is pressing the alarm on delimitation. The key to this highly political issue lies in the total fertility rate or TFR statistics. With strict population control measures introduced in the 1990s, the southern states have total fertility rates lower than the national average of 2. The National Family Health Service statistics show that Andhra Pradesh and Karnataka have a TFR of 1.7, Telangana, Kerala and Tamil Nadu are at 1.8. This basically means that very soon these states will have a bigger aging population than northern states like Uttar Pradesh and Bihar. Apart from an aging population, there is the other political question of proportional representation. This means that every state gets the number of seats in Lok Sabha in proportion to its population. These seats are roughly equal in size. Now, this proportional representation is not mandated for union territories or hill states or northeastern states which have a population less than 60 lakh. The number of seats in Lok Sabha is also capped and can be revisited only after a census exercise. Now do you see the problem? As India is looking at initiating its much delayed census, it will have to address the tricky question of delimitation. Why I say tricky is because any state which has a lower population stands the chance of a reduced number of seats in parliament. I have with me today Telugu Desam Party Member of Parliament Lavu Sri Krishna Devarayalu, who would help us understand the reasoning behind Mr. Naidu's call to have more children. Welcome to the morning brief, Mr. Sri Krishna. Could you please explain the reason behind the call that Andhra Pradesh CM has given?
Yeah, Nidhi, we are having an interesting problem in Andhra Pradesh. When you look at the reproductive stats in Andhra Pradesh, it's almost equal to any of the developed country in the world. It's standing around 1.6, 1.7. So because of that, if you go with the next delimitation that is going to happen, we are standing at a huge disadvantage in the increase of the seats as well in the next parliament elections as well. So keeping all these things in view, Chandrababu Naidu, not just now, but he has been talking about it for the last 3-4 years to increase the population. So because of that, this decision also has been taken to send a message to all the people across the state by taking out the, for anyone to contest in election, you don't have to have only two kids, but even if you have more than two kids also, you participate in the local body elections.
So, help us understand what is the disadvantage that you think Andhra Pradesh would face in a few years.
Andhra Pradesh by 2047 is going to be a state with having the most aged population. If you look at anywhere in the country, I think average age of a Andhra person will be around 43 or 44 by 2047, which will be one of the highest in the country. The two main things that's going to happen when you have that, your economics will go for a toss because you will be spending more on the pensions and taking care of the elderly people. And the second thing is you'll have less people in the working group. The other one will be medical insurances, medical claims, medical bills, and investment in the medical facilities will balloon to new heights. We're going to face a Japanese problem in the next 20 years or so.
You don't think it is a conservative way of looking at things? Like, when a senior leader like Mr. Naidu says more children, he is looking at it only from Andhra Pradesh's perspective and not from India's.
His first thing is we're going to lose it during the delimitation times. Second thing is your economy in the near future will go for a toss. So these are the challenges that are going to be faced by Andhra in the immediate future. So we have to answer those challenges. We cannot say it is restrictive, it is reclusive, or we can't find words for that. But at the same time, for you to answer for the question you have posed, Nidhi, I think this formula with regards to delimitation, I think it will be re-looked into so that other states are also encouraged to control the fertility rates.
So, do you see a similar demand being raised by other southern states?
It's not just southern state. It's something that everyone everyone has to sit together. Not there's nothing like north south this thing or this, but everyone needs to sit together and address this issue. When someone, a senior politician like Mr. Chandrababu Naidu is raising this issue, there's something thought behind that. So a regional party and a strong party that's been there for the last 41 years, he's been talking about it. And definitely not just southern state, not just southern regional parties, but parties across the country, and every state needs to have it relocated. As I mentioned earlier, I think the formula with regards to the delimitation, I think, and I'm sure that there'll be a discussion on that in the near and immediate future.
So, as you can see, a lower population puts the southern states at a disadvantage. This is very sensitive question. So, the last time the boundaries of constituencies were tweaked, the Indian political class postponed its problem. While internally in a state the boundaries of constituencies were altered, the number of constituencies was not touched. In fact, it was decided that this will be addressed after the next census exercise. What was the flip side? The flip side was, while 25 lakh people in Uttar Pradesh elect an MP, in Kerala 16 lakh people elect one, and in Tamil Nadu about 18 lakh people. This means a person's vote in UP is not equal to a person's vote in Kerala or Tamil Nadu. Now, how fair is that? I have with me Professor Sanjay Kumar of Center for Study of Developing Societies, who will deconstruct the delimitation conundrum for us. Welcome to the morning brief, Professor Sanjay Kumar.
Good morning, Nidhi.
Sir, how do you see this call by Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister Chandrababu Naidu that people should have more children?
No, standalone, if you look at this call, then I don't think there would be anyone to support. At least I won't be supporting such a call that have more children. But there is an implication of that, because I think he's trying to connect it with the delimitation exercise, because when the delimitation take place, the whole idea is to have constituencies of equal size. So if your population is less, the state is likely to have lesser number of parliamentary constituencies and assembly constituency. I think if you look at his call in this context, then maybe he's looking at the welfare of his own state. He's fighting for his own state.
So when you say he's fighting for his own state, can you help us understand how does this link to delimitation?
So what is the basic logic of delimitation? So the basic logic of delimitation is the all the parliamentary constituencies of the country should be of equal size. When I say equal size, I mean more or less equal number of voters in each assembly, in each parliamentary constituency. There are some exceptions, northeast, hilly states, because in northeast the populations are very small. So what would happen if you keep, suppose there is a fixed number of parliamentary seats, 600 parliamentary seats has to be, redrawn the boundaries of 600 or 700 or 800 parliamentary constituencies. So the state which will have smaller population, and the seats will be divided according to the share of population of that state to the national population. So if UP has a much bigger population, which is the case, UP has 80 seats and Andhra has lesser number of seats. If the population growth rate is very different, if the fertility rate is different, which will affect the population. So what might happen, still we know that UP has much bigger number of parliamentary seats compared to Andhra or Telangana or Tamil Nadu or Kerala. So what has happened in last delimitation exercise, since Tamil Nadu's share of 39 seats will not be affected and UP's 80 seats will remain 80, Rajasthan 25 seats will remain 25. So even after delimitation, size of a parliamentary seat was much bigger in Rajasthan. Number of voters in one parliamentary seat of Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, UP was much bigger compared to number of voters in each parliamentary seat in say Tamil Nadu or Kerala or Andhra or Telangana or Karnataka. So this disproportionality might increase because if UP has a much higher growth rate of population. That is why I think this is the concern of the Chief Minister Chandrababu Naidu, that our population is going down. When the next delimitation will take place, we might be losing seats in the parliament. It is not only a concern of one southern state, Andhra. Remember, when the last delimitation took place, this was a concern raised by chief ministers of all the southern states.
So that clearly reflected an unwillingness among, in the political class to reallocate parliamentary seats to fully address the population criteria.
No, absolutely. The last delimitation did not address this criteria. And what happened is that later on, another issue started erupting in a sense. More voters are electing one member of parliament, and if less voters are electing one member of parliament, it is also it it violates the basic principles of one man, one the value of vote. Though we have one, everyone has one vote, but the value of vote of a voter in Rajasthan and UP is less compared to the value of vote of a voter in Tamil Nadu or Kerala, because 100 voter of Kerala are electing one parliamentarian, but 200 voters of UP are electing one parliamentarian. So the value of vote was very different after this exercise.
Sir, when I see the current demographics, people migrate for work and, in a way, sometimes settled in the state where they migrate to. Like, say, an
Hmm.
agriculture worker from, say, Chhattisgarh or Bihar will move to Andhra Pradesh or Tamil Nadu. This worker
Hmm.
will be using the resources of that state, and sometimes he settles in that state. Now, how prudent is it to count him in the population of his home state and expect that he is being represented by an MLA of that particular state? Because ultimately there is a shift in population. Is this, you think, a criteria, the economic criteria also, that should be or could ever be counted in delimitation?
No, I don't. I can't think of a way how economic criteria could be used as one of the variables when the delimitation exercise take place. The two basic principles are used when the delimitation exercise take place. The principle of equal size of parliamentary constituencies or population parliamentary constituency ratio, and the boundaries. So the boundary should be contiguous. It cannot be like, you have a one small locality which is not contiguous part of one parliamentary constituency. I can't think of how this economic criteria can be used as one additional variable while while redrawing the boundaries of uh, assembly or Lok Sabha constituencies.
So when such a exercise takes place, Would it also have an impact on reserved seats, SC and ST seats? Do you think if we work with the same formula, you see the proportion of the seats going down for the southern states?
No, if the population of people who for whom seats are reserved for the Dalits and Adivasis, if the proportion of population of Dalits and Adivasis in the national population has gone up, so more seats need to be reserved for SCs and STs. If, as I mentioned, if the proportion of their population in the entire population has gone up, if the proportion has not gone up, then it does not disturb the proportion of reserved seats within the entire parliamentary seats or within the all the assembly seats of in a particular state.
So this question only arises as a function of the total fertility rate of a state overall.
I think the problem is that the population, if has gone up or gone down, it is not only because of the fertility rate. You have rightly mentioned it can also be because of migration. Mumbai, city Delhi, Bangalore, there are large number of cities where there is a large number of the migrants coming to the city every day, every week, every month. And if you look at the migration data over last few decades, interstate migration has gone up drastically. That also needs to be taken into account when a policy maker, whether it is Chief Minister Chandrababu Naidu or some other person, is talking about that population fertility rate should be higher, appealing to the people that have more children because we have to increase the population of the state.
So this fear that the north will dominate over the south because of its numerical strength is for real, and you do see this demand coming from the south to address the delimitation formula.
Yes, it happened during the last delimitation exercise. All the southern states actually united, and there was a rough estimate. If in the 2008 delimitation, the formula of equal seat population ratio was maintained, all the southern states would have lost 12 to 13 seats, and all these 12, 13 seats would have been added to the North Indian states. Some seats would have increased in UP, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, and Bihar. So there was a tussle even at the time of 2008 delimitation exercise. If this is not addressed right at the beginning, I think such kind of a divide we might witness even when the new delimitation exercise takes place.
So, if the current formula is implemented, more populous northern states would have a better representation in parliament than the southern states. This also means that political parties with a presence up the Vindhyas would have an advantage over the regional parties of the south like Naidu's TDP or MK Stalin's DMK or the Left Front in Kerala. Hope you enjoyed listening to this episode of the Morning Brief. I'm Nidhi Sharma, signing off. This episode was brought to you by sound designer Amrit Reggie and producer Surohini Jain. Executive producers Anirban Chaudhary and Arijit Barman. Thank you for listening, and if you like this episode, do spread the word. All new episodes of the Morning Brief podcast drop every Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. It streams on Amazon Prime Music, JioSaavn, Spotify, Apple and Google Podcasts, and of course, ET's own audio platform, ET Play. All clips used in this episode belong to the owners, credits mentioned in the description. So have a great weekend.